I have been thinking about this first segment that I wanted to embark on, and I decided that I wanted to focus on spirituality. And with spirituality, again, like I said before, I do not want to touch on religion, even though religion, I find, does play a part in how we walk through the world. It doesn't necessarily gauge how our connectedness is to the divine, to other people, the path that we choose. I think a lot of people can tend to become really self-righteous and can also isolate. It can get cliquish, as far as what kind of religion that you're in. So I find that if you gauge yourself based more on spirituality, you're focused more on your individual connection, your individual affinity to the divine, as well as just how you choose to engage your aliveness in your movement in the world, in life. So for myself, I find that I have been really intrigued with, just being focused on moving forward and letting go of the past and not to be attached to a lot of the things that had really stemmed to cause victim consciousness in my walk. And I had spoke on previously that I had experienced a lot of traumatic events in my life. And because of that, I feel that I've gained a lot of blocks. I've had a lot of, fearful tendencies that I might not have realized were fear based, but they really were. And I find that as I'm unfolding into understanding who I am spiritually, as well as who I am as an individual, as I keep unfolding, I'm really digging who I am. But at the same time, I'm finding that I'm learning more about what spirituality really is, and also trying to gauge exactly what my goal is, what my purpose is being here in this incarnation. Um, Recently, I had to read a particular book that I want to share. I think everybody should check this book out. It's called The Alchemist. The Alchemist is a book that pretty much gauges the walk or the journey of a particular young man and his experiences. I'm going to make sure y'all see that, by Paulo Coelho. I'm not really sure if I'm butchering his name, but this particular story just really speaks to the experience of a young man and how, where you are in your life or what your lot is, what you start off on, is not how you'll end up, just based on your present circumstances. So I'm really a person that really feels that your circumstances do not define who you are, in character, or also who you are as an individual. And I think that sometimes when you're in environments that, like you're in the hoods, if you're in the ghettos, a lot of times you can feel trapped. Like, this is it. This is it. This is all I got to work with, and that's not the case. We choose what we choose to become. That's our choice. We're definitely here to serve a higher purpose than just by means of getting by. You're so much more than that, as well as myself. Um, I had experienced some serious issues early on in my experience that I really wasn't willing to connect with. When I had spoke about in the introduction about, you can deal with depression, you can deal, with separation anxiety, you can deal with a lot of different things. You don't necessarily need to have to coin it and say, oh, I have this, or oh, I have that. You don't have to get it, caught up in that, because that's also getting attached to disorders, or you don't want to get attached to labels. You don't want to really do that. But it's really important to acknowledge where you are and what you need to work through. So I have found that I have worked with a particular practice that worked for me, it was through Michael Beckwith. You can really look him up if you can. If you could just Google that particular name and life visioning, Life and envisioning. And life visioning, it's a CD series disc that gives you an opportunity to really just see who you are as a spiritual individual, a spiritual being, and your connectedness to all things. And, just really focused on moving forward and just seeing that you have so many opportunities available to you if you are willing to be a participant in the unfoldment of your soul. And that in itself sounds so beautiful, just to be a participant in the adventure and the unfoldment of your soul. And so I really hope that everybody gets the opportunity to look at that, to look at Michael Bernard Beckwith and the life visioning process. If you get a chance to check out the book again, The Alchemist, is an easy read, as well as the fact it just is really amazing. The start and the finish of the book is really, really inspiring. A particular book that I'm reading right now was given to me by one of my very dear friends. It's called The Afterlife. And this particular book is by Emanuel Swedenborg, I think. Oh, I tell you, I butcher names way too much. But with this particular book, it talks about the spiritual community. It talks about what it's like on the other side, as well as what it's like as a spiritual being, period. That we're so much more. There's a phrase that says we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, but we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And what it seems like to us in this physical experience is that this is all there is. So I just found that that book was really inspiring to me as I'm moving forward. But what I was going to share was that I had really went through some difficult issues with depression for a period. I was in a really difficult situation, just trying to step out of a relationship, a marriage actually, that was just saturated in just a lot of traumatic stuff. And I found that it pretty much just mirrored my experience throughout my life. So I felt like a disconnect with what my purpose was, who I was, being attached to my experiences, and just kind of just going through the 9 to 5 every day of life and not really understanding that there's so much more to our experiences. So what I found in listening to Michael Bernard Beckwith, he had this phrase. It's called blisscipline. It's when you take your time to work through your day and using daily meditations, spiritual readings, getting into a community, as well as just kind of focusing on just having a daily life that's focused on being in the present moment and walking just in this day. And I was listening to this motivational conversation that Will Smith had in an interview, and he was saying that it's easy to think that you can fall apart trying to grow or trying to build a wall. But if you take one moment just to focus on laying that one brick perfectly, then after a while you'll see that you've reached your goal in creating that wall. So I find that I do have specific goals and aspirations for myself, and using the life visioning process has really helped me regain a place in my life that I had thought I lost. Because at one point I felt like I went through this like breakdown. I had dropped out of school. I was having panic attacks all the time, and I relocated. It really caused a strain on a relationship with my son. And I remember stepping into receiving this life visioning process and how it helped me realign my life and to get back on track. But I'm finding that there's another level that it's time to just really let go. you know, of what I believed and who I believed that I was, that my circumstances defined my experience being here. So I find that as I'm moving forward and utilizing this process, that I'm creating a new life and in my experiences. So I'm really excited to be able to share it with you. But then also, I'll probably will put something up to really kind of share it with you and give you some examples on how it works. But then also to show you what my daily process looks like. And again, I had shared that I was about to go on to a 60-day experience in really spiritually unfolding, which would also consist of a juice fast, as well as just really aligning my spirit and rebooting who I am as an individual, and just engaging my higher self into my daily self. And I think that's really important to note, is that it's really our goal to just be our higher self 24/7, not just something we step in every once in a while, or, ooh, I'm not doing so cool right now and I need to do this in order to get on track, and then we kind of forget. So again, I'm just gonna focus more on being disciplined in my life and using my experiences in a daily walk, and just doing the affirmations, doing the spiritual readings, the exercise, the eating right. I feel that if I spent the majority of my life just doing things haphazardly or not even really focused, I feel like I've accomplished a lot just on pure will, strength, and grit, of who I am as a person. But I find that when I have a spiritual foundation and a basis, of connectedness, that, there's no stopping um, the possibility of what we can become and what we can do. So I know this might seem like a little vague, but I just wanted to get started, just to be able to share some thoughts with you, as well as my individual experiences. I like my little hood look today. I'm just doing me. But anyway, I'll be checking back in, and I hope you have a great day. And again, just remember the affirmation: today is the greatest day of my life. Today I have the opportunity to uniquely express the divine in a way that only I can. And if you can just say that in the mirror to yourself, write it down, I promise you things will start changing day by day, and you will see it unfold. Namaste.